Candace Owens believes two things. The first is that cancel culture is unacceptable. And the second is that she should get more credit for canceling Chrissy Teigen, which I don't even know that she's involved in, but she really wants you to believe that she canceled her. So she wrote this op-ed for the Daily Wire. Candace Owens, why I launched the campaign against Chrissy Teigen. Why exactly her name needs to be at the beginning of the title when her name is under it, I don't know, but that's what she submitted. She really likes to see her own name in capital letters. And what it has to do with is that Chrissy Teigen recently got in a lot of trouble, understandably, because Courtney Stodden had an interview where she talked about some of the things that Chrissy Teigen would say to her, DM or whatever, basically telling her that she should kill herself, which is, I think we can all agree, pretty unacceptable, no matter what. But with Courtney Stodden being as young as she was when Chrissy Teigen did it, it's even worse. Now, Chrissy Teigen has lost some of her brand deals. She had product lines at Target and at Bloomingdale's. I don't know which, if any of those, are as a result of what happened, because Target says that they had already stopped doing her product line a couple of months ago. I don't know. But in any event, Candace Owens wants you to believe that those deals being lost were a result of her being canceled, and that Candace Owens is the one that made it happen. And she says in a tweet, while I am glad that Bloomingdale's has also decided to drop Chrissy Teigen, I would be happier if Chrissy offered a sincere apology to all of young women she attacked, which, by the way, she has. It was weeks before the tweet that you're seeing right now, but she's ignoring that. The Twitter apology was just an attempt to save her sponsors. Well, then what would some other apology be? Would you adjudicate if it was good enough at that point? But anyway, so she seems to be implying there that cancel culture is okay now because the left has done it. So now we can all play by those rules. So then I guess in the future, it's just all the same. We all just cancel each other. Can we agree on that? No, she's gonna go right back to saying it's just a left-wing thing in like 2 days. But her concern about people encouraging others to commit suicide appears to be a little bit hypocritical, as several people have pointed out, bringing up some of her past statements. Like, so for instance, this is Marlo Stern pointing out that Candace Owens claims she's going after Chrissy Teigen because she cares deeply about suicide, when she openly mocked Meghan Markle for having suicidal ideations and Kurt Cobain for taking his own life. Now, those things seem pretty outlandish, so let's actually go to some of the evidence. Here's a tweet from Candace Owens saying, isolating an individual away from their family and friends, using suicide threats to get what you want. These are classic signs of an emotionally abusive relationship, but we are supposed to suspend rationality because racism. This is talking about Meghan Markle. Dear Harry, Meghan is not the victim, you are. So that was just about 2 months ago. So Meghan Markle had talked about feeling suicidal. So Courtney Stodden's feeling suicidal is reason for Chrissy Teigen to be canceled. Meghan Markle feeling suicidal is a joke and it's emotional manipulation. So apparently all of this is contingent, and what it's contingent on is Candace Owens' evaluation of whether you're honestly feeling suicidal or whether it's just a tactic or a tool. Now, Jake, there's other evidence that we'll get to, but that's a good appetizer for the topic.
Yeah, so what I'm most interested in is what an unbelievable fraud Candace Owens is, because some of this I'd seen before, but not all of it. And I want to give credit to newsone.com here that listed the half a dozen or so over-the-top hypocrisies of Candace Owens, and it really delivers, as you're about to see here, because I'm going to give you a couple of examples. But last thing for me on the issue of suicide is Candace Owens didn't just do it with Meghan Markle; she did it repeatedly. When Anthony Bourdain killed himself, she said that it was. She blamed it on PC culture and a culture of victimhood, and she bragged about how she never had ideas about killing herself, and hence presumably better than Anthony Bourdain. Mm-hmm. And so now she's the same person pretending that she's devastated by the idea of Chrissy Teigen making fun of or egging on or whatever, or attacking someone who thought about committing suicide, right? Yeah. Or that issue altogether. But you're on the record. We have all of your tweets where you make fun of people
mocking Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, not only that talked about thinking about committing suicide, but a guy who actually did commit suicide.
Yeah.
And you said that he was a culture of victimhood and that you were better than him because you didn't think that way. I mean, look, I'm going to put aside how sick and ignorant that is. That's not why people commit suicide, because they want to feel like they are part of a culture of it. No, they're not going to be part of any culture. They die, right? No, they have something that's physically wrong with them oftentimes, right? And they need medical help. And this clown thinks, oh yeah, you gave into PC culture, yeah. No, that's not why they did it. They didn't do it flippantly. Anyway, I don't want to talk about her idiotic ideas on suicide because she's a moron. But more importantly, she's a crook. So, did she go rob a bank? Not to my knowledge, right? So, a crook in the sense of, well, the good news is she's probably robbing right-wing people. She's decided that she's going to do this as a profession, lie for a living, and say things she doesn't believe at all, seemingly, apparently. Because let me give you the history of it, right? So, look, I don't want to get into all of her insane things that she said in the past because she's got a cottage industry of it. Yeah, but I just want to focus on the hypocrisy parts, right? So first of all, her willingness to lie is, for us on the left, the moderates, the people who believe in reason, logic, facts, etc., it's stunning, right? So she was doing a TV appearance and she said the National Rifle Association was started as a civil rights group. No, it wasn't. Not at all. Not even adjacent. Not close. She just made it up because she doesn't care about lying. But then when it gets to the lying of her personal life, well, that's where it gets really interesting. So, she's become a conservative just in the last couple of years. So right around 2017. Before that, she was apparently, I don't want to say progressive because that gives progressives a bad name. She was theoretically on the left, okay? But adamantly so, and adamantly against Trump. So she now that she's doing this grift about how I'm a black person who's a Republican and black people are leaving and black people are inferior and stuff. But whoever has a mind left among black people are coming to the Republican side. That's her grift, right? So as part of that grift, she says that the NAACP is, quote, one of the worst groups for black people. So she says that now because she's making money off of saying that. Now, do you want to know that just a couple of years ago, well, to be fair, back in 2007, okay? She sued for racial harassment against her with the help of the NAACP. So back when she's being racially harassed, she made $37,500 out of that lawsuit. NAACP, I need you, please. I'm the victim of racial harassment. Let's go sue. They win, good, great. Okay, apparently she was a victim, right? She won. And then she turns around, NAACP, one of the worst groups for black people. She's just okay. Then, even much more recently, in 2015, she had a website called Degree 180. Okay, you know what it was? It was an anti-Trump website. She made fun of his penis size. She called him a racist. And now
she thinks racism is a punchline.
Yeah, racism doesn't even exist. When she was suing for racism, it existed. When she was saying Trump was a racist, it existed. But just a couple of years later, when she's making tons of money by appealing to racists, all of a sudden it doesn't exist anymore. Voila, it magically disappeared. It's funny that we say disappeared because she said back then on her website, the good news is that, quote, the Republican Tea Party will eventually die off peacefully in their sleep, we hope. She turned around the next year and started doing segments about how Democrats were the worst and they were the true racists, and Trump was a godlike figure and was awesome and was the best, and the real problem was black culture.
Yep. So the fact that now, thanks to technology and things like YouTube and podcasts, means that anyone with a mic and a camera and opinions can theoretically make money off of it has good sides, independent media, TYT. It also has bad sides in that if someone's skill set and talents are entirely a complete amoral value system, a willingness to say whatever is needed to make money, and being clever enough to know what people want you to say, and so you just pretend that that's what you believe. That's the bad side, though. It's not just on the right. I think it's more common on the right, but there are those on the left that do it too. The only thing I really disagree with you in that is that she's conservative now when she used to be on the left. Did she ever used to be anything? Dave Rubin says that he's conservative now and he used to be liberal. He didn't have two honest liberal views to rub together back then. He didn't care about any of it. It's all a grift for these people. They don't really believe anything. Like if I told you you could make 5 times as much money by being a conservative, you couldn't set aside your values, it'd kill you. But she's doing just fine. Dave Rubin's doing just fine. They didn't have anything really to set aside in the first place.
Yeah, for them it's just a game, right? And it's just and guys, remember that you're on the receiving end of that game. So they think you're suckers. And they're willing to sell out their own people to make that living. It's really the most revolting, disgusting thing you'll ever see. I'll bother to speculate on what their real views are. Not that it matters, you're right, because their real views is where's the money, right? But Dave Rubin, when he was at TYT, apparently my sense is that he pretended to be progressive and he would focus on the things that where he agreed with the left. So LGBTQ rights, right? Now later he would debase himself and beg Ben Shapiro to bake a cupcake for him, and Shapiro metaphorically slapped him across the face and said, "No, I won't do it," for his wedding, right? And he still groveled, and then he went and blamed, I think it wasn't the fire, I forget exactly what he did, but he blamed gay firefighters or something like that. It was just unbelievable.
Oh, I don't even know this one.
On Fox News, because what does Fox News and the right wing need? They need a gay person to blame other gay people. So even that shred of progressive ideas that Dave had, he was willing to sell away, right? That's who he is. But otherwise, I think he was always conservative. When we had the debate at TYT about Israel.
Oh, I remember that.
He was very right wing, right? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I never saw his right wing side before. Okay, hey, diversity of opinion, right? It turns out.
I think part of the reason that you were so shocked was because he didn't have strong opinions about anything.
Yeah, that's true. But with Candace Owens, I get the sense that based on this, there's so much more. She sues, in the old days, she sued all the time, right? Old days is a couple of years ago too. Like she sued, she was in an apartment and she made fun of AOC. Oh, you can't afford an apartment, you're not fiscally responsible. She was paying $3,500 for her own apartment, Candace Owens was. $3,500 is a lot of money, okay? But she decided, no, I'm not gonna pay. I'm gonna pretend that there's toxic mold sickness. So she didn't leave the apartment, she stayed there for 6 months. And then sued later and saying, yeah, there was toxic mold. I stayed anyway and enjoyed the apartment that was at $3,500. I didn't pay you, now I want you to pay me, okay?
I mean, look, if there was toxic mold, then I'm glad, but
no, yeah, I don't believe a word of Candace Owens says. Now, by the way, I'm not even sure that she suffered racial harassment back in 2007. She's just an
There's a lot of racism. I mean, she would deny that, but I see it. Yeah. Look, the whole thing, just have actual values. Like, for instance, Chrissy Teigen was wrong. Should she lose her brand deals for that? It's up to you, honestly. If you think that what Chrissy Teigen did was terrible and her apology isn't good enough, then don't follow her on Twitter, don't watch her Quibbies, and don't buy her products. That seems very reasonable to me. And the exact same thing for people on the right. They do it. They hate certain things. They don't support certain things, so they try to cancel those things. That is what literally everyone does. They don't financially support or support with their attention things they don't like, statements they don't like, actions they don't like. That's what everybody does. It's just that not everybody has a PR-based concept like cancel culture to lend an aura of superiority to the cancellations that they do while degrading the cancellations of people that they don't like.
Yeah, so my last two things are, so on Candace's politics, I don't think, that's where I agree with you. I don't think she has any politics. I think Dave was always conservative with tiny little bit of like, when it affects me, I'll be progressive, right? With Candace, it appears, she's like, oh, where's the money?
It was whatever.
I don't care at all. Politics, news, things that affect your life. Getting everybody to hate black people by blaming black culture for everything. Who cares? Who cares? Where's the goddamn money? So that's who Candace Owens is. And finally, on the cancel culture, look, you can't talk to Republicans. They don't care about logic or facts. They will say in the same sentence without blinking an eye, cancel culture is the worst thing in America. They ran their entire convention in 2020 about cancel culture.
It's crazy.
Recently in a Republican poll, I think came in #1 as most important issue in the country. Cancel culture, not healthcare. Not coronavirus,
not the border, not guns, not abortion. Cancel culture.
So that was one poll, but cancel culture is the most important thing. And then they will say in that same sentence, so great that Chrissy Teigen got canceled. I'm so happy that she got canceled because she criticizes Donald Trump.
Yep.
No,
Liz Cheney.
Yeah.
Not in leadership anymore.
Yeah. No, we lost 40% of the country. They just have chosen to turn off facts and logic and say, nope, we're in a fact-free world and a logic-free world. We just want to hate, 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 hate. Oh, Candace helps us hate? Great. She hates Chrissy Teigen, who's against Trump. Great, I'm here for it. Let's cancel, cancel, cancel. Cancel culture is awesome, right? They almost sing a song about it. And then Candace Owens now helps us hate black people. Then they're like, who cares what her past was? Who cares what kind of a liar she is? We love her because she hates the same people as we hate. That's why Trump won in the first place. So there you have it. That's the essence of the Republican Party today. Enjoy. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.